In Unit 2, we explored tax and the supply and demand curve. So in a supply and demand curve, you obviously have your supply curve right here and your demand curve right here. Now for this example, I'm having the demand curve be more elastic than a supply curve for purposes to show difference in tax and how it can affect how much you pay in a tax. So to start with, you have your equilibrium quantity here and equilibrium price here, going along here, which would be right here. This would be if the government was not involved in here at all. So what would happen if they implemented a tax? The tax, you can use a method called the tax wedge. So however much the tax is, let's say it's just $3, then you can just use, you got to find the difference between the supply curve and the demand curve, or which would be $3. So for this example, we're just going to pretend that the difference between here is $3. So you go to here, this is your new quantity here, quantity of tax, and that's your new supply curve, or your new quantity. So what differences does this make in your comparing to the equilibrium? Well, the price that demanders have to pay goes up, because obviously if there's a tax on it, they have to pay more for it. For suppliers, they get less money out of it in the end. So when it usually like any profits they make from it goes down because they now have to pay to the tax too. So why does the government do this? Well, they actually get a tax revenue in it. This red box here, this entire red box, is how much the government makes, which is good for them because, money. However, this is bad for suppliers and consumers, because this creates a deadweight loss in their supply and demand curve, where at equilibrium, all of this would be filled in with consumer surplus, and all of this below the line here would be producer surplus. Instead, we now have the red box here, which is revenue for the government. This green is now the new consumer surplus, and the yellow here is now producer surplus. Now, where does elasticity come into this? Well, if your curve is more elastic, you get to escape the tax more. So you can see here, consumers have to pay just a little bit more, a lot less than what producers have to pay for, which is this little gap here. Producers end up having to pay a lot more of the tax instead of the consumers that just barely pay anything out of it.